It's a big world out there, and yeah, I want to check it out.
I have learned that if you must leave a place where you have lived in and loved, and where all your yesteryears are buried deep, leave it any way except a slow way. Leave it as fast as you can. I live by the river now, and there's so many beautiful little cafes and shops that are along the river that I can go to. It's so pretty. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I hope you had a good, safe week, and happy fall. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? I just think fall is such a magical time of year. So this is my kind of ode to fall today, and I thought we could have some fun and share our favorites of the fall season. And I wanted to talk about my favorite decorations and candles, my favorite lipstick and sweaters and movies, and I just think we're going to have a lot of fun here. And at the end of the video, I just wanted to go over a comment that I got on last week's video that had such a profound effect on me, and I wanted to share it with all of you and see what you thought. You know, I think fall is such a beautiful time of year, and things seem to slow down a little bit, and it starts to get cold outside, so we move inside, and maybe we start a little fire in the fireplace now, and we get our favorite comforter, and we burn candles. We burn our very favorite fall candles, and that's the first thing I wanted to share with you is my very favorite fall candle. This is Farmland Flowers, and it's by Red Leaf Home. I try to get this every single year because this is a 3-wick candle, and boy is it heavy, but it smells like apples. It smells like apples and an orchard. And I love that. And that might not appeal to, some people. You want to smell pumpkin, right? Marshmallows, s'mores, that type of thing. But I love the smell of the apple orchard. When I was a little girl, I used to go to the apple orchard with my grandfather, and he would let me run and run and run down the aisles of the apple trees. So every autumn, when I light this candle, it just takes me back to the most wonderful memories. So, yeah, I wanted to share that candle with you. The next question of the tag is, what is your very favorite autumn decoration this year? And I have two. And one is, again, going with the apple theme because, just because it brings back so many wonderful memories. But I have this apple wreath, and I know it's kind of corny, but I love it. And I can make it my own. I can add little twigs to it and flowers, and I can put oil on the apples and just make them shine. I just thought it was so sweet, and again, it it's kind of, reminds me of my childhood and some of the very happiest memories I had at the apple orchard. So I was so happy to have this wreath because I really feel that because I've been moving the last month, I kind of missed out on decorating for fall. So I'm so glad that I have what I do have, I'm in love with. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. This smells like cinnamon. But this little wire pumpkin I got at Home Goods last year. And I think it is so original and so creative. And you can open up the bottom and you can replenish it with potpourri or your scented pine cones. And I always use scented pine cones. But all year long, for some reason, I just get away with this and I just move it from room to room all year. Like for Easter, I stick in some pink flowers, and 4th of July, we got a little I mean, I figure out a way where I can just keep this around me all the time. It smells so good and it's so easy to refill. So I love these two decorations and I'm so happy I get to show them to you. What are yours? What are some of your favorite decorations this year? The next question is, do I use any skincare just in the fall? Skincare that I don't use year round. And the answer is yes. I use a pumpkin enzyme serum. And this is basically just pumpkin oil. And I love it. And I start using this September 1st and I end January 1st. And it's so full of vitamin A and vitamin E, and it helps me exfoliate. And I know you've seen all the pumpkin enzyme masks, that rip your face off. Well, anyway, this just makes me bright. It tackles my fine lines and wrinkles, and it just, because I'm not getting the sun in the fall like, I would in the summer, it's hard to kind of get your glow on, And so when your skin is truly exfoliated, this is what really helps me. So you might wonder, well, why not use it year round? My skin is so sensitive. I can just barely handle this in the fall. So if I were to use this in the winter with the snow and the wind and the bears, it would just be too much. So I take advantage of it September, October, November, and December, and I get my glow on, and it's always helped me, and I wanted to make sure I shared that today. Next question is, do I have a favorite lipstick for fall? And I absolutely do. I have two that I love that are quite similar. And the first one is called Coffee Crave, and it is by CoverGirl. Very, very creamy formula. I have it on today, and I don't know, I just love it. I think it's just a very romantic, sexy shade for fall. You have all this beautiful foliage around you, and you just you want to stand out from, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I don't know. You just want to be as beautiful as the foliage. There you go. But I love Coffee Crave. And the other lipstick that I love is by Maybelline, and it is called, wait for it, Crazed for Coffee. Do you see a theme here? Anyway, so this one is a little bit more mauve, but it's still like it's such a beautiful shade for fall. I mean, you really wouldn't be wearing that, you know, in the wintertime or at Christmas. You know, Christmas, I love to go with the wines and the reds, but for fall, I love that kind of chocolate, burnt chocolate look. I'm not really good at explaining lipsticks, but I know what I like, and it's so easy to remember. Coffee Crave and Crazy for Coffee. There you go. I have a favorite fall blush, and I do, and I go old school. I mix two things together. Do you remember the old brick from Physicians Formula? It just has all these real crazy shimmery browns and pinks. Well, I mix that on my brush, and I will go over my cheeks, you know, 3 times on each side. I know, I'm kind of ACD, so it has to be 3 times. And then I will go in with a bronzer, and it doesn't matter what bronzer. I'm using the Physicians Formula butter bronzer that smells like the beach. Anyway, so, and then I will go over that, and it just, there's something about all that shimmer, and then you put your bronzer over it, and you know, you can actually go all over your face with your bronzer. But for fall, I don't know, it reminds me of the light coming in from the trees in the fall, and the, I don't know, okay, I get a little carried away, but I just love that look, you know, because if you just use a bronzer for blush, it's dull. You know, it's like, who cares? There's no dimension. And if you just use, you know, the brick highlighter, then it's just like too much, like, you know, you look like a deer in headlights. But if you put them together, I think they look marvelous. The next question is, do I have a favorite eyeshadow palette for fall? And I truly do. You know, I don't mix it up a lot, you know, when it comes to eyeshadow. I have hooded eyes, so I try to just do a super light lid and a very light transition color and a crease color. But in the fall, this palette, New Neutral by Makeup Revolution, I am in love with this palette for fall. I wear it every single day. There are 2 colors in here. That's all I use is 2 colors. One is called Glamour, which is kind of a gray-brown, you know, for your crease color. And then for your lid color, it's called For Real or For Real. I don't actually know how they want us to say that, but let's just go with For Real. Anyway, I just love those 2 colors together. They're just so romantic for autumn. You know, it's like I don't like to compete, you know, with the colors of the leaves, you know, having burgundies and oranges and things like that. I want something that just shimmers like, you know, I don't know, something so pretty, like the sun coming through the, all right, I'll stop. But anyway, I love this palette. I think if you tried this palette, I think you really would love it. It's not very expensive. I'll list it below if you can still get it. But it is I just think it's such a pretty look. It's a real no-nonsense look. You know, when you're only using 2 shades, you don't have to think about it too much. And I like that. I like that a lot. This color is Glamour, and this color is For Real, and those 2 together I think are so beautiful. Desi, I never would have believed it, but you've made a new friend, and it's a cat. You never liked cats before. You get right up to the screen, and you guys rub cheeks through the screen. I think that's a little strange, but you know, you're Desi. And what are my very favorite items of clothing for the fall? Hands down, they are sweater coats. Sweaters, open cardigans that almost look like a coat. Some have a hood, some don't. But I fell in love with them, and I don't think I'll ever leave them. I want to model just a couple of them for you. But I picked this right before I moved. I picked up this sweater coat, and it's just a really dreamy, kind of just really soft open cardigan in a French kind of pattern. And I almost cried in the store when I saw this because it reminds me of the coat that I had. I had thrifted that coat, and I looked it up, and it was like a $500 coat that I got for $5. And when Cooper and I moved in our old apartment, we had nothing, but I just had my little French cloth coat. It wasn't warm, but it was so fashionable, and people would say, "Oh, I love your coat." And even though I didn't have a dime to my name, I had my coat. Anyway, after 8 years, it fell apart. Looked all over for it online, but couldn't find it. But I found this one. I found this one at Kohl's, and I about died. Now, this isn't the fancy coat that I had, but it's the same pattern and the same color. So I want to show you what this looks like on, and it just has so much sentimental value.
It is so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight.
The next sweater coat that I love so much has kind of an Aztec design. It's just, to me, it's so unusual. It hangs so well, it's so warm, and it's so pretty. And I rarely see any sweaters like this on anybody. And you can get this off of Amazon. I actually got this at Marshall's, but I did see that you can actually get this on Amazon too. But I want to show you what this sweater looks like on it. I don't know, I just think whatever outfit you have on, when you have a sweater coat like this on in the fall, it's like, oh yeah, she's put together completely. And we know better.
I hope it never ends. Let's be more than friends. Yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day.
If I get a chance, I want to show you what this looks like. This is just kind of a long, very lightweight autumn, I don't know, just kind of an open cardigan, but it's just kind of dreamy, very feminine with the flowers, but with the burgundy and grays, it just screams October, Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just us two, me and you. Oh, 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 I can't believe you love me. Oh, 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 I just feel so lucky. Oh, 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 still can't believe you love me.
Past years seem safe ones, while the future lives in a cloud, formidable from a distance. I just love that quote. That quote about it, you know, if you're moving from somewhere that you love, that you've held a bond with, do it any way you want. Just don't do it slow. I think I really know what that means now. You know, I only had 13 days before I knew I could move into my new home, so I didn't have time to cry or to look back or to think about how sad Cooper and I were when we first moved in. We had nothing. Well, it was a really hard time, but over those years in that apartment, I got my life back. I got back on my feet. But the day that I moved out, when the movers were there, not one neighbor came to give me a hug or wish me luck or tell me they were going to miss me. I mean, they had called before, they sent cards, and I got little, goodbye gifts. But on the very day I moved out, there was nobody there, just me and the movers. And I wondered why until I read that quote, and then I realized, yeah, like, well, if you're going to go, just go. Do it. I don't want to see it and I don't want to feel it. Just go. The first night I was here, there was only one neighbor who called me. And it was John, the neighbor who hates me. And I said, "Hello, John, how are you?" And he said, "Well, I heard you moved. Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, me and Desi, we're just fine." And before I could say, "Hey, John, how are you?" he said, "Well, that's good. You're safe and sound. Goodbye." Goodbye. I mean, that was it. That was from the neighbor who hated me. Hey everybody, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. I loved every second of it, and Desi did too. If you get time, could you down below just tell us what your favorite fall decoration is or favorite fall movie, just something. But I'm so glad that you were here today, and I hope you have a very happy, safe fall week coming up. And when you're done with your week, come back and see me and Desi, okay? Okay, it's a deal. We'll be here. Come on, you're going to look at the camera? Past years seem safe ones, while the future lives in a cloud, formidable from a distance.